you've touched on this a little bit. Well, actually, quite a lot. You place a lot of importance on learning about the cultures that you're going to be working with.
Yep.
Um, Getting local help.
Yep.
Um, Publishing things, producing things, presenting things in local context.
Yep.
Okay. You've talked a little bit how important this has been. Can you talk a little bit more about how how you get things to resonate with your target audience, and how you really first realize that the challenge of this cultural myopia, that you don't just arrive at a country and do things the way you've always done them at home. Do you have anything else that you might want to add on how you've bridged these problems in international PR? And let me add one more thing. And do you think these are important to building the trust and the credibility?
Absolutely. The task is to persuade people to do something. And the best way to persuade them is by understanding and making friends with and using the channels that they find, that they open naturally. In the case of Korea, for example, when I first went to Korea, the Koreans had been speaking Japanese for 50 years with an occupying power. They were yearning to speak Korean. A lot of the people who came to work in embassies, American and others, or in international agencies, of whether it's Red Cross or whatever, spoke Japanese. Japanese was a popular language of study. Japanese was a dominant language, a big country. And everybody knew the Koreans spoke Japanese, and so they came in speaking Japanese. I found out the first day, Koreans didn't want to speak Japanese. That was what the occupying power had kept them submerged under. For 50 years, they wanted to speak Korean. But the people who went over there had no idea about Korean. A few missionaries, Christian missionaries, spoke Korean and had bothered to study the language. And there were a few books as a consequence of that. And a few expatriate Koreans had tried to teach people in other countries to speak Korean, notably in Shanghai and in Hawaii, and even in Washington. It became quickly obvious to me that we didn't want to be speaking Japanese to Koreans. We wanted to speak Korean to Koreans. And that newspaper sent out by mail did that. That was a profound lesson for me to learn. Really, in the Philippines, the United States had been an occupying force from the war, Spanish-American War, 1898, 1900. For a long time, the United States had done. And under the Tidings-McDuffie Act had agreed to liberate the Philippines and make them an independent country in 1946. That was interrupted by the war, but the United States kept its pledge and the country became independent. And nobody in America spoke Tagalog. They insisted the Filipinos speak English. Well, the Spanish had insisted they speak Spanish. That didn't take. We insisted they speak English. That took halfway. But any American who could speak local language, Tagalog and its relative languages, Pampangan and Hiligaynon and so forth, really had an edge. It became quickly evident to me that if I wanted an edge, I'd learn to speak Tagalog. It couldn't be that tough. I mean, the Filipinos were speaking it. Yeah. But that was a profound lesson to learn. And it helped me a lot everywhere I went. Or if you're going to speak English in the Philippines, speak Philippine English. That requires certain word selection and a certain accent, but it's very effective.